What's up, guys? We are back for another video. As you can see, the scenery behind me probably a little different than usual. As you guys might have saw from the community post, made it to Hawaii, having a terrific time. But anyways, while I'm out here, the videos will obviously slow down a bit, and if I uploaded any weird times for the people on the East Coast, I'm 6 hours behind. So as I record this, it is Wednesday afternoon versus Wednesday night for you guys, and it's taken a bit to adjust, I'm not going to lie. But anyways, before we dive into today's video, I just wanted to let you guys know about that update. So anyways, before we dive in, please like the video and subscribe to this channel, as each only take a second to do, and it would be very much appreciated. And not only that, we are very close to 24,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for the continued support. Now let's begin. So the first topic we are going to discuss on today's video is the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is ironically out here in Hawaii as well. And I thought it was kind of cool that the Packers receivers, and not good or bad, just I thought it was pretty cool that they stood up with their guy, but that they all, from Devontae Adams to Geronimo Allison, that they all sat out of OTAs. And what is important to note is OTAs are a lot of the times optional, but for players that want to step up and become good or great on their team, they're not optional. As obviously it is for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and those guys of the world, but for the players that want to take the next step up, they can't just say, I'm good, I'll just go work out on my own, and because that never relays a positive message. That relays that I'm above the team, I'm above you guys, I don't have to be out here working in May, striving for a goal that would conclude in next February, and that just does not send a positive message. So the optional OTAs are really optional for only maybe 5 or 6 players in the entire NFL, but other than that, the guys have to be there. And for the top 5 receivers of the Packers to stand up with the disapproval of Aaron Rodgers, I thought that was pretty cool by them to stand by their guy and let the Packers front office know who their guy is. Now, obviously, by them doing that, that does not cause friction and say, is Jordan Love the next guy? It does not do that. It just shows that they are standing with Aaron Rodgers in terms of this situation. Now, I would go out and say I do think Devontae Adams specifically would want Aaron Rodgers to be his quarterback, as they have the best chemistry and they've been together since Jordan Love was probably in high school. And so what I'm saying is I think it was cool that they stood up for Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think this creates a controversy or anything like that, other than just them standing up. And the next topic we are going to discuss is Danielle Hunter lack of being there at OTAs. So Danielle Hunter, as we know, has been a tremendous pass rusher over the past probably 4 years or so, and Danielle signed an extension back in 2018 off of the 2017 NFC Championship game run for a 5-year, $70 million deal. And at the time, outside of Minnesota, Danielle wasn't really known the way he was now. And I, at the time, as a Vikings fan, thought, look, we're getting Danielle for a steal. And come to find out, Danielle realized it was a steal for the Vikings as well, and he is probably going to sit out for the entire OTAs. Now, not to make this a huge thing, as Danielle has said he wants to get paid, and quite frankly, who would blame him for saying that? But the reality is Danielle's little holdout here may extend further than Vikings fans would want to admit. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news and say, Danielle he's going to sit out till October until they give him a new deal, because A, number one, I don't know, and B, he may play if they start, finding him, and obviously that's going to change things when you start taking away man's chicken. So for Danielle specifically, I don't think it's a cause of concern at this point. I do think it could lead to that, but right now, Danielle sitting out at OTAs does not surprise me in the slightest, and Vikings fans, for anybody that pays attention to that, I don't think it should come as a surprise either. So the next topic we are going to discuss is Julio Jones, as Julio right now is, I don't want to say in hot water, but his name has been thrown around a lot. And I did a whole video breaking down what teams we thought he could go to, whether it was the Patriots or the Titans, and if I did have to place money on it right now, it would be one of those teams. And specifically, I don't know which, but I do think it's definitely going to be one of those teams. And DeAndre Hopkins did say I would take a pay cut if he would go to the Cardinals, and I do believe DeAndre would if it came down to it, but I don't think the Falcons would trade him to the Cardinals willingly, as that would be in the same conference, and generally teams, and especially the Falcons, given that they can control this, they're not going to trade him there. I would be genuinely surprised if they did, but Julio is such an asset that really every other NFL team, all 31 teams, would take Julio if they could. It's not a matter of, maybe this is a scheme-specific player, maybe this is a pass rusher that can get maybe 4 sacks a year if Von Miller and Bradley Chubb are both on the opposite sides of him, and, maybe that's the third guy in a pass rush rotation. It's not exactly like that at all. Julio has been one of the most dominant receivers over the past 20 years, and every NFL team would take him. There's no NFL team that would say, we have 6 receivers that are better than Julio and on this roster, and nah, we don't really want him. It's not going to work like that. So due to that reason, I do think Julio 100% will go to an AFC team. I did at least want to toss that in, given with A.J. Brown, and shout out A.J. Brown, by the way, for all of his recruiting tactics that he's done so far for the Titans. I just did want to address Julio's name and really that topic in today's video. The next topic we are going to discuss is injury during OTAs, as Lions defensive tackle Joel Heath, and by the way, this is probably the only time Joel Heath will probably ever be discussed on this channel in depth, but Joel Heath tore his ACL earlier today in practice, and as I'm recording this is probably going to be tomorrow by that time. But what I do want to address is that's extremely unfortunate for not only Joel but for Joel's family, as he was an undrafted player that came into the league back in 2016, and he chose to opt out of the 2020 season, and then the Lions gave him a chance, and on the first couple of days of OTAs, tears his ACL and is going to be 28 next year, and he turns 28 in July this year, so he's going to be 29 by the start of the league year in 2022. And what's going to be tough for him is to come back from not only an opt-out year, because every player that opted out in 2020, by the way, I don't blame them for doing so, but they're going to have to prove that they're back at the NFL level and that they're going to have to prove that they are the player they once were. So for an undrafted player that has 34 career tackles, it's going to be a very long road back for him, both mentally and physically, for him to come back and play at the NFL again. And not only, I didn't include Joel specifically just for that, but anybody that tears their ACL or anybody that has a season-ending injury now, I just want to say, look, I really am hoping the best for your recovery, because to train and train and train the way guys do, and then to go out on the first day of off-season training activities and, just tear something or break something and be out for 5, 6, 7 months to a year, it genuinely sucks for that said player. And I did want to include that in today's video, is anybody that does it, whether it's a player on my favorite team or a player on your favorite team, I just wanted to say I wish them the best in the recovery, because that is going to happen, and that is the nature of the game that we all love, injury. And I wish it was not, but that it is what it is, and I really do wish every player that gets hurt nothing but the best. Next topic we are going to discuss is the NFL clearing 30 of 32 NFL stadiums for full capacity. And the only teams that weren't, by the way, if you guys were wondering, were the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, and even the article discussed them talking about working with local legislation and people of that nature to get full capacity. And I just want to say, this isn't really related to OTA specifically, but I did want to say, how grateful I am that we are going to all be going to NFL games again. And I missed it a lot in 2020. I know a lot of you guys did too, I am sure, as everyone missed going to games. But, to be able to go back again after what we've been through, as a world, not just as a country, not just as a state, not just as a county in a specific state, but as the world, to go back to games in 2021 is going to be surreal. And how that relates to, videos today is it's going to be crazy to see how players react, with the full 70,000 plus fans in every stadium, because I am sure that last year they got accustomed to no fans, and I'm sure that even the crowd, being piped in noise, that was not anywhere close to an actual stadium, and I'm sure players would attest to that. And obviously players, played most of their lives with thousands of fans in the crowd before, or at least their professional careers, obviously, right? But how they are going to react to full stadiums again, and I'm just going to make a bold prediction here. I do think at some point this year, probably early on more than later on, but at some point this year, the sound record for stadium will be broken, just because of everyone, just so being glad that they are back in the stadium, that it's going to be an eruption at some point in an NFL stadium. And I am so grateful that we are all going to go back to be able to watch a live NFL football in 2021. Now, as we wrap up today's video, that is all we're going to have, but anyway, a quick announcement. I do appreciate all of the support while I'm out here. If you guys do have any comments that you want me to discuss, or any topics, let me know in the comment section, and what I may do is kind of like a second channel style video while I'm out here. So if there's any comments, I'll post your username with the question that you have and answer it on the air like we do for the second channel. But anyways, that is all I have. We are in, the dead period of the off season, so yeah, now is the perfect time for video suggestions. Eventually, when I do get back, we will have more in-depth topics and do film breakdowns of players like Sam Darnold, for example, as he goes to Carolina. But for now, that is all we have for today's video. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I do appreciate the support. And until next time, have a great day. Love you guys. Deuces. Peace.